There's so many chocolate cake recipes out there which turn out awesome, especially in my channel, because I have a few more. You can check up here in the description box down below. But in today's video, we are going to be making a chocolate pound cake which is going to turn out moist, flavorful, because it's going to be chocolate flavor, and it's going to be a little bit dense, which is going to make the cake very filling, and each bite is going to be amazing or incredible. Yeah, so grab the ingredients and let's make this delicious cake recipe. The first step is going to be preheating your oven. So you'll set at 180 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes. Then you're going to spray and line your baking tin with parchment paper so that it can be easier for you to invert the cake when it's ready. You're going to need very few ingredients for this recipe, and I've already placed every single ingredient on my countertop because the recipe is going to be super fast. I have some sugar, eggs, vanilla essence, salt, baking powder, some cocoa powder for the chocolate flavor. Of course, we have some all-purpose flour, buttermilk, and coffee. That is instant coffee, together with margarine. You can also substitute the margarine with some softened butter. So I'm going to cream my butter, which is 1 cup over high speed. After whipping up my margarine for around 45 seconds, it's light and very fluffy. So next I'm going to be adding in some sugar, and this is a cup. Whip up until the sugar is fully combined with the margarine. Crack in 3 eggs, one at a time. In between, you're going to use your spatula and stir in so that all the ingredients can get fully whipped up, and the sugar is going to add in sweetness to the cake, while the egg is going to make the cake very fluffy. I've been whipping up my eggs for around 1.5 minutes, and this step is very crucial because you're going to whip up the eggs, which are going to make the cake very fluffy. So yeah, this is how the batter should be looking. As you can see, it's nice and flowing and it's very light. Also, make sure the eggs are at room temperature before adding into your bowl, because if you add in cold eggs, the cake is not going to rise evenly while baking in the oven. So next, I'm going to be adding in the dry ingredients, and you'll need a sieve. So I'm going to sieve in. This is a little hack, folding the sieve on the bowl. I'm going to add in 1 cup of all-purpose flour, half a cup of cocoa powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and my instant coffee. This is a teaspoon also. I'm going to sieve in half of the dry ingredients. Add in my vanilla essence, that is a teaspoon. Then I'm going to fold in the dry ingredients into the wet, while I add in a 1/3 cup of buttermilk. Fold in once more. Then I'm going to add in the rest of the dry ingredients. Make sure you get everything into the bowl. Fold while I add in the rest of the buttermilk. The salt is going to balance the sweetness of the cake, while the baking powder is going to help the cake rise while baking in the oven, and it's also going to react with the buttermilk, which is acidic, hence you're going to get a very nice and fluffy cake. The vanilla essence is going to add in some flavor, that is vanilla flavor. And the cocoa powder is going to give us an awesome chocolate pound cake. Make sure to scrape the bowl as you mix. And once done mixing, this is how your batter should be looking. As you can see, it's not too light, it's not too thick, it's just in between. So we are going to transfer to our prepped up baking tin. Adding in a teaspoon of instant coffee is going to enhance the chocolate flavor, so don't skip the coffee. Get everything from the bowl. Level up the batter a little bit. Then I'm going to be baking my chocolate pound cake at 180 degrees Celsius for 50 minutes. And to check if the cake is ready, you're going to insert a skewer. If the skewer comes out with no wet butter, the cake is ready to rest. When your chocolate pound cake is ready, you're going to let it cool in the tin for 10 minutes. Then you're going to invert and let it cool completely. Mine is ready for digging in. And as you can see, my cake has turned out perfect. So I'm going to use a serrated knife and slice a couple of pieces. This is how the crumb texture is looking, and as you can see, it's dense, which means that the cake is perfect for birthdays, weddings, or even to try out at home if you have not tried out making some chocolate cake. And it's going to be one of your favorite cakes recipe because it's so delicious. Serve with a cup of juice, milk, or even tea and coffee, and it's going to be amazing.